Hello there. Today we're going to do a little faux cyanotype with watercolor. This is the test one that I did, and it's watercolor paints, a stencil, a magic eraser, and some stencils that I have here are from Sean Petit. I'll put the link in the show notes. But cyanotype is a sun-developed photo paper that typically you put plants on, and they put them out in the sun and they develop, and they're usually the blue, like this one, a dark indigo blue. So I've got this one. I'm going to experiment with some trees and some other flower stencils, and I'm going to also do just a patterned one to see how that turns out. And then this is the other one that I have. I'm going to experiment today on a watercolor card. This is a note card, and when you buy these, they're not folded, but they have a dent here on one side, which is called the valley, and then on the other side there's a raised area that's called the mountain. And when you have a watercolor card, or any note card for that matter, that's not folded, to me it's not intuitive, but you do want to fold towards the mountain, so you would fold inward this way, and that tells you which side you need to paint on. What I'm going to do today, this is just a palette that I've made on my own. I'll also put this link. I got the holder, the watercolor holder, on Amazon. It came with the tins, and there's magnets behind them that hold them in place. But you buy your own paints to fill it. So the color I mixed today is phthalo blue with Payne's gray. And those are both cool colors, so there won't be mud. As if I'd mixed a cool blue and a warm blue, then that would have had all three primaries in the base of that. I'm going to put a piece of tape right here along this edge so that I don't go over that when I'm doing my background. I'm just going to line that up where that valley is. Put my tape down. And I've already mixed up the paint. I did spritz my watercolors with water, and then I've just put some water in here. I've already pre-mixed this. You want it to be pretty dark. This is that's really, really dark. It'll lighten up because watercolors always dry lighter. So that's about the tone I'm going to start with. I may have to mix some more, but we'll just see. Just going to try to put a little gradient on here. I want to be careful going off the edges because I don't want it to bleed on the underside of the card. If it does, we'll deal with that later, but for now I'm going to try to keep it. So obviously not enough paint, so I'm going to get a little more water in my palette here, a little more Payne's gray and phthalo blue. There's probably more Payne's gray in there than there is phthalo blue. That looks close. And then just gonna paint some more in here. Adding a little water where that transition took place because it had dried a little bit. Oh, it's gonna take a lot of paint. A lot of paint. See what I did there? I got a little splatter. So what I'm going to do is just take a paper towel and clean that up. If I find that that doesn't clean it up in the end, then I will make the back a splatter board, which is one of my favorite things to do with watercolor anyway, and it will all become intentional. So again, I'm just kind of washing over this. And it doesn't have to be a perfect, even color, because when you take the magic eraser to it, it's going to change it a little bit anyway. I just kind of want to make sure that I have enough paint on there that's pretty deep. should take a picture of my video set up here. You would probably laugh. I have 2 plant tables with a metal shelf laying on top of it, and then on top of that is an empty Amazon box, of course, who doesn't have those, and a wooden paint panel, and then on top of that is a box that I keep note cards that I get from family and friends. So also, if this has got a lot of water in it, a lot of paint, if when you're done painting a note card, especially with watercolor, if it's buckling up, let it dry completely, and then put a piece of cellophane or wax paper over it, and then set it under a few books, and for a day or 2, and it will totally flatten out. Still a little streaky, so I'm just going to keep working it. And what I could do is go in a different direction to help eliminate some of those streaks. What I find when teaching watercolor is people are afraid of using enough water. They want their paint to be really, really dry. They're also afraid of using a lot of pigment, so just fill it up, enjoy it, love the color. So watercolor will continue to move after you stop fiddling with it like I'm doing. So I'm gonna walk away from this, let it dry, because that's one of the important things with this technique. It needs to be really, really dry. So I'm gonna walk away from this, let it dry. I'll come back and we'll continue from there. Okay, so I'm back. It's completely dry. You can tell because when you feel of it, if it feels cool, then it's gonna be good and dry. I'm going to take off my tape at this point. And this shouldn't be a problem on this one since I didn't paint that much, but a tip for peeling off tape is you want to pull it at about a 45-degree angle, pulling it away, pull your tape away, pull it slowly. If it does start to tear, you can hit it with a hairdryer for a little bit, warm up the tape so that the glue will loosen up a little bit. So now I've got my tape off. I can put my paints aside. And again, I've got the mountainside. Here's my finished card. I really, really love the way that dark background looks, especially compared to the first one I did, which was a much lighter background. I think that's using that Payne's gray with a phthalo blue and a much deeper wash on my paper before I started with the process. I also did some with just green and a mixed color kaleidoscope, and those aren't as vibrant to me. They are not as beautiful as the Faux Cyanotype, but I do really, really love how this one turned out. I hope you'll come back and join me for some more videos. Have a great day.